still looking at Monday, January 16th. Probably going to start the seat cutting video. I was contemplating not doing it because I wanted to listen to Pulp MX live on my iPad there. But so far, no good. Basically, I've never listened to it live, and I wanted to try it, and did everything I'm supposed to do, put the link in there, and exactly, my time, 8 p.m., 6 p.m. Their time, it was supposed to start. Well, it's now like 8:39 my time, something like that, and they're just playing music. And I know it's the right link because it wasn't available until 8 o'clock, but for those of you that don't know Pulp MX, if you follow racing, Pulp MX, they have an iTunes app, and they have you can download their podcast from iTunes, and it's kind of a recap of the racing. And they also have some things, off season, that kind of thing. So it's on almost every week, every Monday. You can download the podcast usually Tuesday, like I said. So, but so far, no good. I guess I'll just have to wait till tomorrow night and download it, listen to it on my drive on Wednesday. So when I drive a lot, which I do, I like to listen to them. It kills the time, and it's usually about a 4-hour show. So enough about Pulp MX. We're going to get started on the seat here. So stay tuned. Okay, first thing you want to do is you actually want to remove the seat. And they're all about the same, no matter what bike. The screw on either side. I think it's a 10 millimeter. Let's check her out here. Yeah, it's a 10. We'll go ahead and remove that. And again, that's either, any of the manufacturers. The 98, same way. I'm going to go ahead and get these two bolts out. Go ahead and get that removed, and then we'll be right back. Okay, you've got those removed. You actually just pull down, pull out, and there you go. And if you're afraid of messing up your factory seat or anything like that, you can get like a One Industry seat like this. The plastic, it's not quite as good, supposedly, the tabs. But they do come off. They do bolt. These are supposed to be a little thinner, but they are replaceable, whereas the other ones are usually riveted on. So if you do want to get a seat just to test on, these are like 59 bucks. Well, I think they're about $100 now, but you can find them on sale for like 59 bucks, and it's a nice seat. So I actually have two of them. And the reason why I did that was one for the low and one for regular. I just have never gotten around to cutting this down. So we want to take it off because we want to get some of these staples out. If not all of them. It just depends on how you're going to cut the seat. So we'll go ahead and we'll get something to take these out, and we'll be right back. So stay tuned. Okay. First of all, never mind that stuff about the Pulp MX show. I forgot they're 3 hours behind, not 2. So anyway, best way to get these out. Well, there's various ways, but best way I've found is with a screwdriver. Just a little small screwdriver, just take it, and you can see it just kind of pops out. And then you can take a pair of pliers, which, of course, I didn't bring any of those out, and just pull it all the way out. You could cut them, but I like to get all the staples out. I don't like to have any, because when you go to restaple, if you hit another staple, you're going to run into trouble. So each one, just you can just kind of pop it, again, like that. They pop out fairly easy. It's just plastic. And then go ahead and pull the rest of it out with a pair of needle nose pliers or pliers. Just yank up on it or twist a little bit, and they'll come out. And if you get a few that are broken off in there, it's going to happen probably. So we'll go ahead and take the rest of these off. I'm probably going to go back to about here or so. I'm not going to take the entire seat cover off, and because I don't really need to do anything in this back section. Now I may have to take it off eventually to refit it a little bit, but I don't think I'll have to. So when I did it a long time ago, I didn't have to. Now bear in mind, it's been a while since I cut a seat down, and I think the first time, well, only done it a few times, and the first time it wasn't very pretty. So this may not be that pretty, but hey, at least you know what not to do. So stay tuned. Okay, now that we've got all the staples out that we want, we're ready to start. Now I will tell you one thing. may take back what I said about this seat. This material is really thin. Now a lot of them are thin. This is pretty thin. This is kind of about the same kind of stuff that came with the graphics that I didn't use. A little thicker than that, but not much. Just gently pull it back, and then we'll expose the foam. And I left mine, now this is all depending on how far you want to go, I left that much of it done. So, because I'm not going to cut out anything past that. And then we'll want to stick it back on the bike. We don't have to necessarily bolt it down, but we'll want to get it in the right position. So I'm going to go ahead and get this positioned, and then we'll go from there. So stay tuned. Okay, now that we've got the seat positioned where we want it, make sure you've actually got the holes mounted, lined up in the back. You may want to even throw the, I don't have my holes lined up. You may even want to throw the bolts back in, which is not a bad idea. We'll go ahead and, we're not going to crank them down. We'll go ahead and just stick them in there. There we go. Put the other one on there. Just so we've got it in the right position. And this is not a, there's no right and wrong way really to do this. You could take a marker, a pen, pencil, and start kind of getting your basic shape, which we'll do here in a minute. Now keep in mind, the more material, can't speak tonight, the more material that you take off, the harder it's going to be on your butt. So, you know, just keep that in mind. I mean, the seats, they aren't, especially the standard seats, there's not a lot of padding there. So the more you take off, the more it's gonna hurt you back there. So do keep that in mind. If you take a ton off, hey, it may be more comfortable to stand on, or to sit on as far as touching the ground, but you're gonna have to deal with it. I mean, there's always a give and a take. So do keep that in mind. Now the foam that this seat comes with is pretty good. It feels a lot firmer than the stock, and the stock is actually pretty soft, and it's mine was pretty brittle. That's another reason why I just got a whole new seat, because it was pretty nasty. But go ahead and take your marker and just start to mark. And I'm going to go ahead and mark this because I've got the camera in front of you, or in front of me, in front of the bike, and otherwise you're just going to see the back of my head. But just get your general shape. We're not going to mark it yet, but get your general shape of what you want, and then slowly, trim some out, trim some more out. Do it slowly. Don't take off a ton at a time, because you can't really add it. I mean, you can if you want to glue it back on, but you don't want to go through all that. So we're going to go ahead and kind of mark out how we want to do this, and then we'll go from there. I'm actually probably going to break this up in a couple parts. It could be a short video or a long video, one long video, but I'm not going to finish it tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it out, and then we'll start with the rest of it probably tomorrow. So I do, now that I know that, now that I remember that they're 3 hours behind, I do want to listen to Pulp MX. I feel like an idiot for sitting here waiting for it to come on, and So anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll get this marked out, and we'll come right back. Okay, you can see my brutal drawing here. You can see the first line, I went a little bit too low, so I went back up. And that's fine, nobody's ever gonna see this. And this still could be a little bit too low, but I'm gonna trim off a little bit, little slithers at a time, and we'll show you that. Like I said, it'll be tomorrow. But you could try to use a pen, but usually a pen will just kind of cut through the foam. Pencil, it won't show up on here. You could use maybe some like a drawing, like I don't know what they call it, like one of those mascara pen maybe, that would probably work. Or like a panel line pen, something like that, that would probably work as well too. But I'm just using a marker. It's what I had laying around. Whatever, like I said, there's no necessarily right way to do this. One thing you do want to keep in mind is to keep the sides uniform. Even if you're not going to go this low, is you want to mark out this side so you can duplicate the other side. So we'll go ahead and put like a mark there, a mark there. We'll measure that. In this case, that's 2 3/4. We'll go ahead and put like another mark here, another mark here. We'll measure that mark, so that's 3, and then that's 2. We'll go ahead and put the point on the other side, and then we'll go ahead and draw the lines so they match up. So again, got to look at it. And also what you want to do, and we'll go over this tomorrow, is as you're shaving it down, go ahead and have a seat on it. first and foremost, I should have mentioned this earlier, you may want to have somebody else help you put a seat on it, or sit on the bike, and then mark where your bootay stops on the seat, and where your crotch area there is beginning of the seat, because you don't want to really cut above that or behind it, because it's going to be useless. So that's another little tip that I probably should have mentioned in the beginning, but hey, I forgot. I'm human. So go ahead and start. We'll go ahead and start marking this all the way out, and then tomorrow, like I said, we'll start cutting it. So please feel free to post any questions or comments. Again, don't claim to be a pro at this. A couple times I've done it. The first time was a disaster. I think I did it 3 times. I might have said 2, but the second time it turned out pretty good. So as always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. Okay, continuing on. Today is, I think it's the 22nd, it's Sunday. Haven't really got a chance to work on this until now. You can see I've drawn some other lines on the seat here, and we're going to start cutting. And I actually cut off a little piece. I started making the video and realized I wasn't recording, so we'll have to carry on again here. There are many ways to cut the seat. You can use a sharp knife. You could use a sander, which I do use a sander later on to smooth it out, and I'll show you that eventually. There's plenty of things you can use. I like to actually use an electric knife. The reason why I like to use it is it cuts it smooth, it's not choppy, and you can control the cut quite a bit with an electric knife. This is a Hamilton Beach. If my wife knew I was using it, she'd probably kill me. But the only time we use it is once a year to cut turkey, so whatever. But usually 20 bucks or less, I think, for these. And you want to start, at least I like to start. Again, I'm not perfect at this. I'm not telling you this the right way. The way I like to start is you get your height first. So I'll take the electric knife here. You see, I'm just taking off slithers of it, but it makes it nice and smooth. There's not a lot of sanding. So I like to get the height where you want it. So I'll cut some slithers off. I'll sit on it, see if that's the right height, and I'll keep on doing that until I get the desired height that I want. Then I can work on the edges. So again, we're just going to keep on cutting this down. And you can certainly go with one long pass, but I don't really want to do that because I don't know exactly where I want this. So there you go, just real thin. So I'm going to keep on doing this, and when we get the desired height, we'll start showing you some more little on the cutting and what have you. So stay tuned. Okay, now that I've got it cut down to where I want it, you can see I really have not taken a lot off. I feel much more than this. You might as well write it on the frame, because it does, even now, it's pretty hard. The more material you take off, the harder the seat's going to get. So keep that in mind. I mean, even if you want it low, just be sure, I mean, you're going to pay for it. So now that I've got this much on the top that I want to take off, I could take the knife and I could start trimming off the sides a little bit. I'm not going to do that because I'm not real comfortable with it. Even with that electric knife, I still don't feel like I have a lot of control. So what I like to do is just start sanding. Now, you can use a block sander. You could use a die grinder with like a sanding wheel on it. It will be kind of difficult. I use an air sander with an 80 or 120 grit, 60 grit. The only thing I have right now is 100 grit. So, and then I just start sanding away, just kind of contouring, getting the shape that I want. And you can see that does take off quite a bit of material even at once. So I'll keep on doing this until I get the exact shape I want, and fine tune it with this, get the sides more rolled over, because right now it's kind of flat. Again, that's how every time I've done it, I've just gotten the top where I wanted it, kind of contoured the rest of it. So I'll keep on doing this until I get the shape that I want, and then I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Again, light passes. I don't go full tilt, just kind of a little bit. Even that little much, I've actually smoothed out that area already. So I'll keep on doing this and then come back with the almost finished project. So stay tuned. Okay, you can see we've actually got it all shaped now, as close as I can get, which is actually pretty smooth. I mean, I've got a couple of high spots that I may take care of here in a minute. But that's really it. Also, what you want to keep in mind is I also narrowed the sides, not all the way down, but right to here a little bit, because the more narrow the seat is, actually the lower you will sit as well, because you know the seats are kind of wide. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead and actually finish this up a little bit. And the easiest way to get you know, smooth it out things is just take your you can take a block sander, or you can take a like a little carver, and just smooth it up even more so. Only got a couple little high spots, one right there, and then I think that's really it. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that last spot there. But you can see I've got a gradual dip there, and in the back I've also smoothed that out of the way, so it's just gradual there as well. And actually I'll in the moment here, as soon as I get that the spot smoothed out here, I'll take the camera off and show you guys a little bit closer what it looks like, so stay tuned. Okay, here's a little close-up. You can see the gradual dip there. There are a couple little ripples here. I still got to clean that up a little bit, but the top of it is pretty much completely smooth. See in the back, you can barely even see the transition there. So I've got this spot to kind of do, and then right up here. And that's it. I'm going to finish those up. Again, see, took a lot off, but not really. So we'll go ahead and, again, I'll get this cleaned up, and then I'll show you the final step. So stay tuned. Okay, we got the seat off the bike. You can see it would have been a good idea if I would have covered up the bike before I started doing all that, but whatever, is what it is. And the next step is make sure it's clean, and I'll go ahead and start mounting this cover back on. And it's probably going to be kind of hard to catch on film, but the reason why, flip this viewfinder around, the reason why I didn't take it all off is because I still retain the basic shape of the back, and I don't have to, you know, it's less that I have to worry about mounting. So I just pull the front back over it like that. And then essentially all I have to do is start pulling in the sides. And actually we'll start from the back probably. We'll start from the back, and then I'll show you what we do. You'll need a stapler. And make sure we got some staples in here, which we do. Here's the stapler here. Just a swing line, or standing, I'm sorry. And we'll pull one side. We're going to be quite a bit further over than we were before. Make sure it's about even. What I'm doing is making sure that each side is even here. But our staple holes are going to be quite a bit further over, so even though we didn't take off a lot, I mean we did. So what I'll do is I'll staple the first one here. Pull the other side. Staple it. And you can see already right there the shape of the seat. And we'll keep on tugging it. I'm going to pull it in and forward since we're starting at the back here. The stapler actually sucks, but it'll do the trick for now. See even more of the shape now. In the back here, see a little hump. Get this side, and you may have to actually even trim off some of this material, because you're going to find that you've got a lot left over on the sides now, underneath. Let me go through. There's a couple of hard spots on this seat. Would probably benefit from using my electric stapler, or my air power stapler. This one right here. Same thing on the other side. Stretch it. And I'll come back and do these even better. Oops. Yeah, this stapler's not the best. actually it's more or less the staples that I'm using. You can see even more of the shape. And I'm just doing this for film for right now. We'll go back and put all the staples in and yeah, this stapler is definitely not doing the trick right now. And I think part of it is this plastic that this aftermarket seat uses. It's kind of a harder plastic, but more brittle at the same time. You can see we've got, there's a little hump. The front's not quite showing. The front's actually going to be a really smooth transition. And the sides here, I need to pull those back a little bit. I'll have to get an electric stapler to get in these cracks in here. Or my air one, but you can see right there. Sorry, you can't really, I don't know how I'm going to get this on film, but we'll go ahead and just sit it there for the time being. So you can kind of see, and that's only got a few staples in it, and you can see the difference. See the little hump in the back there, which I wanted to have a, there's nothing I can do about that. It is actually a smooth transition, but again, I haven't taken off a lot, but I've taken off enough for it to be noticeable. So that is it, really. And that'll pretty much wrap it up. Again, if you didn't see it, me stapling, all I'm doing, it's kind of hard. I don't have a table to put this on right now, unfortunately. I'm pulling it tight, and then I'm stapling it up against the plastic. And you can see a couple of them didn't actually stick. This stapler's just not cutting it. It's either a stapler or it's this hard plastic that we've got on this seat. The OEM seat is more like a little bit softer plastic, more rubbery. So, but that's it for now. If you feel post any questions or comments. Actually, what I'll do is I'll get this all stapled up. I won't end the video yet. I'll get it all stapled up the way it needs to be, and then I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like on the bike. So stay tuned. All right, we got it all finished up off camera. It's just kind of hard to film, and it's just a pain sometimes on camera. So much easier off camera. You can see it. It actually looks pretty good, and that literally took me probably 10 minutes, possibly. I mean, it would have taken probably about 15 start to finish, but I did record, a few minutes the other day, just showing you how to take it off and whatnot. But that's it. Again, you can see the gradual dip down here. It dips all the way down. It's actually tight. Dips all the way down and it goes back up here. And I've made this real smooth. This I wanted a little bit. I actually took a little bit more off back here. But I like the way it looks. I'm glad with the way it turned out. So that's really it. Please feel free to post any questions or comments. And if you got a better way of doing it, which I'm sure everybody's got their little way of doing it, but that's the easiest way for me. As long as you have the power tools and that sander, it takes no time. And actually, if you use like an auto body, they've got one of the sanders that take off the like the Bondo. It's like a little cheese grater. That is excellent for those. I don't have one. I had one. I don't know what happened to it, but like a cheese style grater, those were perfect for those as well. So probably even better than the air sander. So feel free to post any questions or comments. And as always, thanks for watching.